baby. Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to the inaugural episode on the Skywalker Unleashed channel. It'll look a little different, may sound a little different, but it's the same fire every single day. Welcome in, baby. Well, we made it. We made it. The end of the season is here, folks. It's here. And some people have dubbed this the season from hell, right? Where the Cowboys have finished 7-10. And we've seen worse, but 12-5, 3 years in a row. You're hoping to get better from it. Didn't happen. It is what it is. Listen, are we all here? Are we all back? Are we everything good to go? I know things may look a little different, sound a little different. I see somebody said we got some sound issues. Thumbs up if the sound is good. Let me know if everything is checking out. And we'll build this thing in the air if we have to, but we should be good to go. Now, the season may be over, but all this is really just beginning. I really, truly believe, I said this to you guys a lot. I've been talking about it on Twitter. The most important decision for the Cowboys offseason begins today and over the next coming days. It is Black Friday, or Black Monday, I'm sorry, across the league. We already saw the Jaguars fired their coach. Other coaches have already been let go. A lot of openings, which means a lot of openings for coaches whose contracts are up. And that is one, Mike McCarthy. So we'll get into all of that. But first, I want to say thank you guys for coming through on the inaugural episode of the Skywalker Unleashed channel, the Skywalker Morning Show, ladies and gentlemen. We are going to be dual streaming. So if you are over on A to Z Sports right now, let me go ahead and drop the link for those who are over there and don't know what's going on. Come on over to this channel as well. So we'll be doing this a few times just to get you guys all migrated over to this channel. And then we will be solely streaming here for the foreseeable future. All right. So with that said, look, ain't nothing changing. We still kicking it. Call into the show if you want. 351-999-3787 is the call-in line. It may look a little different, but we're going to give it to you, man. We're going to give it to you. All right, let's get to this roundup. Let's talk about this draft positioning and, Jerry Jones. Y'all know I don't like talking about what he has to say, but sometimes you have to because he says or he does something stupid. And it's a reflection on why this organization is the way it is. So we'll talk about that a little bit, and then we'll dive into this coaching business. And I know some people don't want to hear it about the coaching business, but I'm sorry. There's no escaping it. This is the most important decision the Cowboys will make between now and September. Bet your money on it.
It's time! It's time! It's time! It's time!
Time.
It's time.
Time?
It is time for.
It's time for the morning roundup. Round 'em up, boys.
Let me talk to you.
Yeah, let me talk to you, Cowboys Nation. So, for all those who were Team Tank and were looking for a top pick, right? Top 10 pick. Cowboys didn't get top 10, but they got close. It got close. It got to 12th overall, and because of the San Francisco 49ers, in which, by the way, I had it backwards on the postgame show. And we needed the Niners to win, not lose. So I was not rooting for the Cards, but I said it wrong. We needed to root for the 49ers to get the dub. They got whooped, and they finished 11th. The Cowboys will finish 12th. So that'll be interesting during draft time, where your rivals who have beaten up on you, who have had your number for the number of years, pick one spot in front of you for the entirety of the draft. I'm going to keep my eyes on that one. I'm going to keep my eyes on that. But how are we feeling, Cowboys Nation, about the 12th overall? I'm good, man. I am good here. And y'all know I've never been the root for every loss type, and I'm not judging anybody that is, right? That's just not how I was back when Dak went down. Dak went down. It was more so, man, look, I'm gonna let the chips fall where they may. I didn't expect this team to, be a playoff team. I didn't expect them to get into the playoffs. I didn't expect them to finish with the 19th, 20th, 21st. None of that. I didn't expect that. I figured they'd be in the top 15, just a matter of where it would fall. And here we are at 12. So I'm good. I'm good with this. I feel like they're in a great position to where if a guy falls around 8, 9, 10, and they really want this guy, they can go up and get him. And I don't think they'll have to mortgage the future to do it. Or if they say, damn, some teams have jumped and we feel really good about where the board's at, we can trade down a little bit, collect some more picks, and still get the guy we want. I like the position, man. I'm feeling good at 12. How y'all feeling? Big Flocks at 12 is cool. I just won't ever call him. Me too. Marv said, me too. Take the best player at 12. 12 is good. We got options at 12. I agree, Stone Cold. 12 is good, but I do feel like the Niners are going to be toxic. Yeah, the Niners being in front of us is kind of whack. What's up, Angry Cowboys fan? Big A said, I wish it was 11, but it's cool. Yeah, I ain't tripping about 11, 12. 11 would have been better, though, for sure. But you guys know how I feel, man. Yeah, Twyman, we dual casting today and probably for the next week, maybe so during this coaching situation, and then it'll be solely here on the Skywalker Still Unleashed channel. So 12 overall is where Dallas will be at, and we'll start to get into draft stuff, likely sprinkle it in as this coaching decision comes, because I think that's the biggest part right now, Cowboys. We need to know who the coach is going to be so we can know what direction that coach wants to go via the draft. But maybe the most anticipated post-game scrum, whatever you want to call it, walk-off. Jerry loves those. I mean, he can act like it. It's so funny because if you watch the walk-offs, right, or the scrum, he'll talk for like 5 minutes or so, and then he'll be like, all right, guys, thank you, and try to act like he's walking away. And the reporters know that's not the case. So they ask a question, then Jerry sits there again and talks for another 20 minutes. He talked for about 40 minutes yesterday, and he said some things. Some things you're like, what the hell are you talking about? And other things, he's just talking in circles like Jerry does. But this one, they asked Jerry Jones if, let me talk to you real quick. Come back. They asked Jerry Jones if the decision to not play Cooper Rush had anything to do with his incentives, which, to be fair, I don't know if that necessarily is a good question because he's never going to really tell you that, right? If it is. But his answer was hilarious. Just take a listen. Just take a listen to Jerry Jones' explanation on the whole incentive deal.
How much did Cooper Rush's contract incentive play into him not playing today? If he
I
played
didn't know
55
about it. I didn't even know about it until I read about it. So nothing at all. Those incentives are in there for the team, and we put them in there so that if someone is, in his case, as a backup quarterback, has to play, they've got the financial incentives, but they're usually put in there because of people representing him, and they should be. So he did really earn some pretty serious incentives this year.
Oh my God, bro. Oh, hell no, man. What the fuck, man? Get your ass.
How does a self-proclaimed general manager, and I ain't self-proclaimed, he is, not know about the details of the quarterback, bro? He's the starting quarterback. He's been the starting quarterback since Dak went down in week 9. You got to know about the incentives, right? And if that's not the case, then, and I said this yesterday to you guys in the pregame show, if it's not the incentives, the reason why Cooper Rush wasn't playing, then why didn't Trey Lance play a lot sooner if it was all about just seeing what the young guys have? It goes right into the same thing I've been saying about this organization. They just do shit. There's no real direction. And I know my guy, Troy, shouts out to you. He's going to say, no, Sky, they have a plan. They have a direction. You just don't like it. How can you say that when you're watching them just do shit? $500,000 is not doing nothing to them. And I'm not saying you play Cooper Rush because just to give him a pat on the back and a pity bonus. Anybody ever get an explanation? I could be wrong. Maybe I missed it. Does anybody have a real explanation of why Cooper Rush was benched for this game if it wasn't because of the bread? They're not going to ask them that, though, because the season's over. Now, we kind of talked about it, and we had a little fun about it. We were like, hey, could it be because they believe that Trey Lance is worse and they want to secure the pick or what have you? Right? And Trey Lance went out there and he showed some good things, showed some bad things. I don't think he looked any differently than he's looked before. Just didn't have 5 interceptions. I mean, just didn't have that part. Is what I'm saying. But I don't think he looked any different, right? He had some balls that had some zip on it. You know, he had some throws and runs that looked good. He had a lot of inaccuracies, right? Missed some guys, took some sacks. He just looked like what he looked like. I said this before and I'll say it again. Trey Lance needs an entire season to mess up and learn. One game, it shouldn't change a damn thing. But now that's going to go by the wayside, as it should, because of the coaching situation. But it's little things like that. You don't know the details of your starting quarterback, but you're tasked to build this championship organization. And he had this quote I want to read to you guys where somebody asked him about the general. Every year, everyone says, hey, are you still going to be general manager? I don't know why they asked that question either. But this is what he said, quote, I didn't buy an investment. I bought an occupation. I bought something I was going to do. I was 46. I bought something that I was going to do for the rest of my life. And that's what I'm doing. So he's not giving up the general manager duties. And all I have to say to that is do your damn job. Do your job then, Jerry. It's frustrating, man. It's very frustrating. And when they asked him about the whole incentive-laden deal for Cooper Rush, somebody kind of came around and said, well, what's up with the coach situation? And Jerry said something along the lines of he would like to get an incentive-laden deal with the coach. Boy, if that's the case, well, you shouldn't say that out loud. But this was very fascinating. And this is where kind of the meat potatoes of the show get interesting. So let's go to Jane Slater's tweet and listen to what she had to say in this scrum. And if you want to go watch the entire interview, you can. It's about 30-something, 40 minutes. But I'm going to read some key parts to you here. Jane Slater, Jerry kept talking about wanting a coach that would agree to an incentive-based contract. But I argued the market pays otherwise. Then he said he didn't want anyone who didn't want to be here. But I argued, if someone doesn't make you feel like you are wanted, why would you? And then she says, make no mistake, there's plenty of coaches who want the job. He's not wrong about it, but it requires a level of ambiguity. Why am I messing up with that word? Why am I messing up with that word in my head? I just said it like a million times. But he might subscribe to other struggles to stomach. Now I'm sounding like 50 Cent out here. Ambiguity. Oh my God. So if you want incentive-laden deals for your coach, somebody asked him, why not an incentive-laden deal for the owner? The general manager. Why not that? So Professor O hit me up yesterday. Yeah, that's not 50 Cent, Mayweather. And we were talking about potential head coaches, and we were talking about Mike McCarthy potentially coming back. And something struck me when me and Professor O were talking. And it's really not that surprising. But let's take a look at the most expensive head coaches out here in these streets. Not that one, this one. Shouts out to Big Red. $20 million a year. Of course, 3 Super Bowls, the things he's done in Kansas City. Totally get it, right? Sean Payton, Mike Tomlin, Jim Harbaugh, Sean McVay, all cracking $15 million a year. Let me ask you a question. Do you think Jerry Jones would even approach anything close to that? For any, whether it be a new guy, whether it be a seasoned vet, a former Super Bowl winning champion, Sean Payton, which is interesting. Sean Payton, y'all, and Mike McCarthy both have one Super Bowl, very, very similar resumes, right? One's getting paid $18 million a year, and wait till you see what the other one's getting paid. This tweet from Nick Harris, though, I think really sums up this thing. I talk about on the thumbnail, the Cowboys coach Mike McCarthy will return if, I think the big if comes down to if he takes a Jerry-friendly deal. Because it sounds like Jerry is trying to negotiate through the media with his coach, ironically. But Nick Harris, who should be on, he may be joining the show today or tomorrow. He said, after the day, the question isn't if Jerry Jones bring McCarthy back, it's how. 2 very telling quotes from Jerry. Quote, I don't know what I'm considering making a change. It's a given that I've decided. If we're sitting around talking about a deal, it's a given that I've decided to go in that direction. The determining, and it says if McCarthy is back, and the negotiating with McCarthy is all in one motion. It's all one football motion. Will determine if the will is there and the terms are there. So it sounds like it sounds like Jerry is talking about salary for Mike McCarthy. Not if it's best for the team, not trying to find someone that's better, but no, we want to bring him back, but we want to bring him back on, say it with me, y'all, my terms. It's my terms now. But here's the problem. These are the lowest paid coaches in the NFL. Matt LaFleur, Zach Taylor, Mike McCarthy, Kevin Stefanski. McCarthy, the second lowest paid head coach at $4 million. Mike McCarthy, Sean Payton. About the same in regards to having the Super Bowl and the success in the years on task. One's getting paid $18 million. The other's getting paid $4 million. And this is where Professor O hit me up and said, hey, man, McCarthy got a new agent. That news kind of went under the wayside a while back, but his agent represents Tom Brady, Jim Harbaugh, Sean Payton. Ladies and gentlemen, Sean Payton's the second highest paid coach. Jim Harbaugh is tied for third. Do you really think this new agent is going to allow Jerry Jones to lowball him with other options out there? Now, I'm just speaking on behalf of Mike. I don't want Mike to return. But if Jerry Jones is talking about already having to hang in the barn, the decision is not about whether he is coming back, but how, then for Mike, I'd walk away because they're going to do this to you. Knowing you can probably get at least double, if not more of that to another franchise, say like the Jacksonville Jaguars, the Bears, or some team that doesn't have that type of cachet at coach. But the problem, and the reason why I wanted to bring this up is because Jerry keeps harping home how he wants a guy that has experience, et cetera, et cetera. Well, Zach Taylor, Matt LaFleur, cheap contracts. Both of those guys have been to a Super Bowl and or NFC championships, multiple. Both were first-time head coaches, both getting paid cheap. Jerry, you can't have your cake and eat it too. Maybe a Doug Peterson who's available will say, all right, I'll take a $4 million. I doubt it. Maybe a John Gruden comes out of retirement and says, I'll take a $4 or $5 million. I doubt it. And if you don't get one of those guys, then it's a Mike Zimmer if he wants to, return. Type of coach. He's going to have to do something different. Not just because it's what's needed, but because I don't think he's going to have any other option. I don't think you're going to be able to go get one of the coaches with Super Bowl experience, et cetera, and pay him dirt cheap like a Mike McCarthy who was in the barn. And if you're keeping it a bean, if he took $4 million to come to Dallas, that means nobody else was offering him that much money. So you got to figure out what you want to do. Do you want to bring in a first-time head coach, young wizard guy? You don't like that, but he's not going to cost you a lot? Maybe, right? Because Ben Johnson going to cost you a lot. But I don't think a Bobby Slowick type will cost you a lot. Liam Cohen will cost you a lot. Zach Taylor type. I don't think those guys will cost you as much. So you get your cheap coach, but he's a first-time coach. Or do you go into the bag, the recycled bag again, of getting a coach that's seasoned, been around the block, but that will cost you a little bit more? Because I'm telling you right now, when you look at some of these coaches' names, there are some seasoned guys that you like, right? Not me personally, but that have been out there and have done it already. Mike Vrabel, the Brian Flores of the world. And a lot of people are trying to put Mike Vrabel with the Cowboys. We'll see. I want to wait for a little bit more to come out. Ben Johnson's the cream of the crop. But we all believe Ben Johnson will not be here for a number of different reasons. And I think maybe the main one is money. But there's other options. Joe Brady, I think, is going to get a lot of looks. Aaron Glenn, what they did yesterday, that Lions defense, by the way, he's going to get some looks. Cliff Kingsbury's out there. Liam Cohen, Drew Petzing, Kellen Moore. That could be the one. That could be the one. But he has to really tread lightly with this one, man. And it needs to happen soon. And that's why last week when Stephen Jones came out and said, we have not begun even thinking about what to do, when to do it, setting up schedules, etc. Once again, they just doing shit, man. They just doing shit. Or as Jerry would say, it's a soap opera. 365. Now, usually I'd hold off with Toxic Tom, but it's the first show on Skywalker Unleashed, so I got to bring it in with Toxic, man. What's good with you, man? Good morning, and I know you're happy as hell that this season is over, and I can't blame you, bro.
Well, first off, thanks for the honor. I'm going to put that on my LinkedIn now. Got to speak first on Skywalker Unleashed.
It's only right, man. It's only right.
And a Happy New Year, too.
Yeah, and again, Happy New Year again.
Yeah, and congratulations again, doing the 717 proud. Just want to let you know, you're living the dream, man. Keep up the good work and sharpening the steel and making your craft even better, man. We're all proud of you.
Thank you.
All right, now to get unleashed on this. So,
Toxic Unleashed.
There's just an old adage I always was told: soldiers don't win wars, armies do. And this time last year, after they got humiliated by the Packers, and I thought, okay, if you're going to make a change, you got to do it now. And when they didn't, and they did the whole dragging their feet in the semantics, the season was doomed. And the reason why I say that is when you are planning an operation and when you're doing kinetic operations and the people are already on the ground doing the stuff they need to be doing, there has been planning for months to make sure that they're in the best position to succeed. And when I look at when this team hit training camp this year prior, they didn't do anything in free agency. They brought back a lame duck coach. They brought back a guy out of retirement who is crushing a 40-year-old supermodel, but now has to go be a DC. And you just gave nothing but excuses about how you report. The season was doomed from the get-go because the planning and the execution to put the team in position to succeed was shit. And you would think that they would learn from that, and you can already see that they don't. And I'll be really brief today because there's one point I want to talk about is
Sure.
when you're the general manager, man, and you want all the credit, you get the good and the bad. And you're the one who's negotiating deals for every single soul. No player puts a contract in front of them and Jerry just endorses it. Jerry wants everything to go through him, per his own words. So when you go up there and you say, I don't know anything about Cooper Rush's incentive deals, that is one of the you don't fuck with your people's money. That is like the number one thing, that and insult their family.
Yeah,
don't fuck with their money.
Somebody said this the other day, where it's like, man, this is nasty work if he doesn't pay Cooper. And I thought they were going to pay him anyway. I thought he'd play a little bit and they give him, but to see that he didn't even get a chance to suit up, and then they're acting like they didn't know, and if he truly didn't know, damn, that's cold blooded. That's cold blooded, because if you really wanted to make that move to not pay him, you should have did it 2 games ago when you were eliminated to play Trey Lance for the remainder of the season. You had an excuse.
You could have just said right there, hey, I'm not aware of his contract, but I guarantee you I will make sure he gets taken care of. You could have squashed it right then and there. It's just
not being aware still is a problem.
Pirates do.
You know what I'm saying? Because you're the general manager. Yeah.
But I don't know what's worse, you not knowing or you doing it deliberately and then acting like you have no idea. Because that is like the shit that's the shit the Pittsburgh Pirates pull. That's a small market, cheap ass team that last year there was a guy named Rowdy Tellez. He needed like 3 more at bats at the last game of the year to get a $200,000 bonus, and the Pirates cut him so they didn't have to pay it. Took him out of the lineup so it didn't happen. And now that's America's team, man. You better take care of that, because that is the number one golden rule I learned.
You got Tampa
Never
Bay
fuck with your people's money.
You got Tampa Bay, throwing Mike Evans out there with 30-some seconds left to hit his $3 million incentives, to hit his tying record with Jerry Rice. And then you got Dallas like, nah, we good on that $500K. It's just kind of funny, man.
It's just, yeah. And the last thing I'll say is, hey, if anyone in here watches the show Landman, hey, you see our fearless general manager in there being a great cameo actor, once again showing that he doesn't give a flying fuck about this entire team. Hey, that entire family, they treat it like Jerry says his biggest Super Bowl is that he gets to be around his kids and work with them every day. Y'all, he's treating this like he's building Stephen Jones a Pinewood Derby car, and he doesn't give a fuck about us. That is what this is right now. And if you were going to go into this offseason and sell this fan base, and you're running back some bullshit retread, or God forbid, Fat Garrett, man, I don't know how you can recover from that.
It sounds like they want to, but it'll come down to the two terms, really. And if they can come to an agreement, then yeah, McCarthy will be back. But I don't know. Again, being enlightened about the new agent and who they represent, I feel like Mike is going to want to get the bag.
He should get the bag. And again, the last thing I'll say is, Mike, if you are out there and you somehow hear this, for once in your life, be a fucking man. You don't take money from these types of people, because when you take money from these types of people, they use it against you. They will humiliate you. You're selling your dignity. You don't do business with people like this, because they will never respect you. And I don't care what people say about it. Respect is something that you should always strive for, no matter what lane of business you're in.
That's real.
Never sell your dignity. But other than that, Sky, once again, congratulations. Can't wait to hear this show. And to the Jones, eat shit. Fuck you.
The Toxic Tom unleashed. We might have to call the horn. It ain't gonna be Pulse of the Nation no more. It's the Unleashed phone line. I have my thoughts on Mike, but one of my main issues with Mike McCarthy is when we get to the playoffs, we look a certain way every time, and these are just a handful of statistics that frustrate me. And I've brought this up with you guys before, specifically after the playoff loss last year. Now, great regular season record. There's a lot of people that say, oh, we could bring Mike back. He's 49-25 in the regular season. Absolutely. I get it. Right. 1-3 though in the playoffs. And they averaged 6.6 points per game in the first half of those 3 playoff losses. Now, if you want to look at the first or the beginning of the one they won, it didn't start off great either. I don't believe they scored a point in the first quarter of that game. So he is notorious for getting off to extremely slow starts with this team in the playoffs. And then the 53 yards per game from running backs also bug me, because that goes to the point of being one-dimensional once you get into the playoffs. And I've said it to you many times. You cannot be one-dimensional every time. There's going to be times, yeah, you have to lean on the defense or lean on the run or lean on the quarterback. But every time it's quarterback or bust, it's pass game or bust. That's a difficult task. And I don't think he has that type of identity in his DNA, which is why I'm willing to take that risk with a different coach that may provide that. Let Mike McCarthy go try to build up the Jags, man. You know what I mean? Let Mike McCarthy go try to. They would love 49-25 in Jacksonville. I'm not saying I want to be 25-49, you know? But we know the standards here are a little bit different. And if the general manager is not changing, then the next guy is going to be the head coach who has to find a way. I know it's very impossible, but at the very least, man, don't come out in these playoff games like this. And this is why I wanted him gone after the game, because this exact situation. And then we can go down further, right, with Mike Zimmer, which is a whole different thing. Now Mike Zimmer doesn't sound like he's all that willing to come back, and not necessarily because of just the Cowboy stuff, but personal things. He's got things going on with him where he may not want to return. So it was a faulty decision to run this back on a lame duck year. Made no sense, and here we are. So we gotta keep our ears plugged to the ground. Let him walk. I mean, yes, I'm with you, but we'll see. Let's get back to the horns. 100 grand, what's up with you?
What's going on, man? It's just the Joneses want to drag it out, man. You know, you got guys making moves. You got the Giants coming out with a statement. We keeping our guys
Giants,
and moving on. That's
Miami,
you know?
San Fran, they all came out and said, nah, this is what we doing. Jerry said,
No, yeah, man, come on.
But think about it.
And then you got Then you got reports of Stephen Jones wants to get it done and let's go. But Jerry's holding it up. Man, it's like, come on, bro.
Well, you know why.
Come on. Yeah, I know why. But and we all knew that this is what they do. So this is not new. But it's just frustrating. Like, bro, can we just stamp this and move on so that we can go to work here? You got wide receivers right now pissed off talking about they trying to win championships. We should be in pursuit of how we gonna go get these guys. My man in Miami said he's out of here. He doesn't want to be there anymore. He said, somebody come get me. Somebody come get me. I want to be in the playoffs.
Somebody will.
Come on, Cowboys. We should be like, how we going to get this man to help CD?
I'd love that, but let's be real. You know what I'm saying? Like that's what sucks is that you think about it as a football fan, right? Because trust and believe me, I retweeted it. I'm like, man, Tyreek Hill and CD Lamb look real. That sound real good. But then you think, wait, this is Jerry Jones, this is Stephen Jones. They're not doing that. They're not doing this. They're not doing this. So immediately you shut it down.
But watch, right? Watch Washington go get that man to go with Terry. Watch Watch the Eagles go. Well, they ain't gonna go get that.
they
They
good.
might. We need a third wide receiver. We need a third wide receiver to go with Saquon
They not
and
doing
Smitty
that.
and AJ Brown. Man, come on
They're
now.
not doing that, but they might pick up the phone and just for shits and giggles. Hey man, what y'all talking about over
Damn.
here?
Come on, man. It's ridiculous, yo. It's like, man, yo, this is sad. This is sad, man. And we sitting here talking about Mike while you got other teams out there talking about players or talking about moving on with different coaches. Man, if Mike don't, and I get it. Mike said, I want to get paid no $4 million or more. Y'all gonna give me some money. I'm gonna get some money now. And you know what I mean? If y'all treated me like trash with the $4 million, y'all want me to be treated like trash, y'all gonna pay me. Y'all gonna pay me. Jerry Jones talking about an incentive contract.
I know.
You already paying the coach $4 million. How much you want to pay the coach? $2 million? $1 million? Come on, man. Like, get it together. This is crazy talk right here. Crazy talk. If Mike don't come back, I could see the Jacksonville coach come in here, revive his career. He gonna come here for the cheap, and he gonna do what the Joneses want him to do. He's a Super Bowl winning coach.
I actually like Doug
that's
Peterson.
how they gonna try to sell it.
I like Doug Peterson. I don't know if he's the guy for the job in Dallas. I don't know, honestly. I have to dig a little bit more, but maybe I like what he did in Philly. He comes from the Andy Reid tree. His offense is a modern West Coast style. They do a lot more window dressing, and I like it, But Doug was ousted in Philly not because of them being bad or whatever, but because he did not fool with how they were doing things in upper management, and he spoke up and he defended himself, right? And if that's the case, I can't see Jerry wanting to get down with somebody like that.
And with Doug, why it didn't work in Jacksonville?
I mean, it just didn't work. It's Jacksonville, but it didn't work. Now they did win a playoff game, which was a historical comeback or whatever, and that may be enough in Jacksonville, but that was 2 years ago. So,
but for the most part, he didn't have what, Scott? Let's be real. For the most part, he didn't have what in Jacksonville?
I don't know. You tell me.
He didn't have the players. The only thing he had was a glorified quarterback, which all Cowboys think, what you got to do? It's quarterback, man. It's quarterback. It ain't about the players. It's the quarterback. That quarterback got paid $155 million, and it's trash. And y'all sit there and say he's better than Dak. Where he at? Trash. And you can't say, oh, well, Dak gets it. That quarterback got injured too. That quarterback is the same. He's just different. A lot of y'all would sell y'all spleen to get that boy over here thinking he going to do something. He ain't do nothing in Jacksonville. Trash. So don't talk about the quarterback. Don't talk about him. But and I don't think he would work over here because Jeremy, he the players. The players. Just like y'all keep saying Kevin Moore. Man, I could call plays when you got Saquon Barkley. I could call plays.
I don't think people are saying Kellen Moore because of his play calling. They're saying Kellen Moore because of the ties to Dallas, right? Like that's the real thing with Kellen Moore's name. That ain't got nothing to do with him as a play caller. We know firsthand how he is as a play caller, but that was Jerry's, golden boy.
Yeah. And what did we win? Nothing. Where did we go? Nothing. And you can't say that was because of Mike. A lot of people, Sky, we got to be careful, Sky, to sit there and say all 4 years is Mike McCarthy's fault. Remember, Kevin Moore was here. Kevin Moore had full autonomy of that offense. Where did we go?
Yeah,
How far did we go? And we all went up in arms with this no ID offense. You forgot about that? Mike McCarthy had to deal with that. That wasn't him. And then Mike McCarthy, with his first full year of him doing whatever he wanted to do, we went to the playoffs. Then, the Joneses didn't invest in this year, period, anyway. We all knew this year was going to be what this year was going to be, trash, because they didn't do anything in the first place.
Let me ask you a question.
Even if
'cause this is what it
everybody
sounds
was
like.
healthy.
You want to bring back Mike?
I don't want to bring Mike back, but it seems like that's the only guy that we're going to get,
geez.
or Jones Gruden. Now that's the Sky.
You sounding like a lot of these other
Gruden,
media
Scott.
people out there. Who else you going to get? That's we cannot think like that, man.
The reason why I think like Sky, but we know the Joneses. The Joneses want to be in the meetings.
But I don't want to bring back somebody just because we think we can't get nobody. If you don't know. You never will know. We know what we got in Mike McCarthy. Like we absolutely know that this is about as high as we're going to get. We've seen him with a healthy team going to the playoffs. We've seen him go in there and say they were nervous. We've seen him go in there and call a shitty, terrible game. We've seen him have those guys not prepared to play. What more do you want to see, bro?
Sky, I know this already. I know this, but my pie in the sky is gone because of Jerry and Stephen Jones. They want to be comfortable with the coach. Why you want to be comfortable with the coach? Why you want to be comfortable?
Back another
because you want to be in the meetings.
10 years
you want to be in the meetings. You want to be in the meetings, calling the plays, saying who's going to do this and do that. That's what the Joneses want to do. That's why they want a coach that they're comfortable with. That's where we're not going to get the Mike Rabels and the guys. That's why we're not going to get them, because they're not comfortable with them boys. Them boys going to fight back. Them boys going to say, hold up now.
I understand all that, but it was sounding like you were advocating to bring Mike back. And when I asked you, you said, well, because who else are we going to get type situation? I think that's flawed. That is very, very flawed thought to say, well, who else are we going to get? It's their job to vet these type of people, right? To get better options, not to have that thought process of, well, we don't think anybody else is out there, so let's just keep a guy who is 1-3 in the playoffs and notoriously cannot get us over the hump as a coach. So, no, I'm not for that.
The reason why I'm saying, Sky, I want a fresh new voice in there. I do. But I got to put myself, I'm done with that, man, this coach will be great. And that I'm done with that, Sky. That's over. Because I understand how this team is run. They don't give a damn about that.
You just now understand that?
They want to be comfortable. No, I'm saying I've been understood that. No.
My whole opinion going into this thing is with the understanding of that. I say it all the time. Because we always do this, and I get it because it's the Joneses and they're goofy. But when you're talking about the coaching decisions, you are factoring in that you have to get a guy in here that is able to combat these dudes, that is able to overcome these dudes. And I don't think it's Mike. I don't think it's him. That's what I'm getting at. I agree.
You misunderstanding me. I agree with you, but we're talking about the Joneses, Scott. We're not talking about somebody that really wants to win and turn shit around. We're not talking about that.
We're in the same book, but on different pages. 100 grand. We'll just keep talking in circles.
Right.
Let me get to some other people, brother.
All right, bro.
All right, man. Appreciate you, big dog. Because we'll just continue to keep talking in circles. It's I don't know how much more to say here, man. We understand, or at least we should have an understanding of the Joneses and how they move and how they operate. I'm looking for somebody that is able to somehow, some freaking way, and I know it may seem impossible, given what they do, to give us an advantage on Sundays and be able to overcome that on Sundays or Mondays or Thursdays, right? I don't think that's the guy. It's that simple. Good morning, Los.
Good morning, Sky, man. Hey, thank God the season is over, man. It's finally done. It's like ripping off that Band-Aid off that wound for so long. You're like, damn, finally give it time to heal, right?
Yeah, man. Yeah, what's on your mind?
Yeah, can you hear me, Sky?
Yep, got you loud and clear. What's up?
Yeah. So basically, just my 2 points. One, we do need a new coach. I mean, it's point blank. Mike McCarthy ain't it. Hey, his tenure in Dallas was 5 years, getting paid for one playoff win, and him being in the shed for so long to do all that. So It is what it is. But I really do hope that Jerry finally pays a premium to get a premium, team, because the only guy that makes sense is Ben Johnson, correct? Is the Lions offensive coordinator.
Yeah, probably the most touted name out there. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you got to pay a premium to get premium. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not about diamond nickels. And honestly, what Toxic said about him, what they did at Cooper Rush, man, I mean, this is the reason why this team is damn cursed, because of how Jerry treats his player when it's time to pay them. It's like, oh, yeah, thank you for, putting all this work for me, and now I can't pay you. I'm sorry. I'm a billionaire that can't pay you. I'm sorry, And I hate that. I really do. It's like if you were in a company, Sky, right, and you did all your hard work, did everything to make that company up and running, and then when it's time to pay you, they offer you, oh, I'm sorry, we can't offer, they give the promotion to some, the guy that doesn't even deserve it. I mean, how would that make you feel, Sky? So it is what it is. This is the team that we have, and Jerry's ego is the downfall of this team. It's been going to be 29 years straight without a Super Bowl appearance and NFC conference, appearance. So, I mean, he has to live with that. I mean, and God forbid, I don't ever wish death upon anybody, never. But the only way I feel like, the only way I ever see this team ever changing is if GM Jerry gives up that position, or like something happens on the Diddy list and Jerry's on it, and he has to sell the team, because that's the only way. That's the only way, Sky, because if Mike McCarthy gets rehired, we already know what we're in for. And they already said that up front, like I told you last week. They're not going to invest into 2025. So just be prepared, Cowboys fans. I mean, we're ride and die. We're loyal to the end. But, man, it's going to be some hard loyalty seasons. So that's all I got, Sky. Peace.
I appreciate you. Yeah, man, you heard what he said. Not him. I'm talking about Jerry Jones. It's a soap opera. 365 days a year. That's how he wants it. And I saw somebody in the chat, probably was my man Twan, and this is something that I've been talking about in some group chats. Got to make a decision soon here. Because all the coaches are up. Now, there's not a lot of coaches I think they that are all that touted to bring back anyway. But I think Twan mentioned the Al Harris. I respect Al. If Al sticks around, that's great. And a lot of people believe Al's the next defensive coordinator here. I personally believe Paul Gunther should be that guy if they want to keep this continuity going from the Zimmer defense if Zimmer does not return. But yeah, if the new DC comes in here, interviews Al, likes him, and wants to keep him, that means you need to do it right now. If Mike is returning and he wants to keep Al, then you need to do things now. You need to make a move. You need to come on with it. Because when these contracts expire, the Al Harrises of the world, they can go say, hey, DQ, you need me? Sean Payton, he was in Kansas City at one point. Kansas City, Andy Reid, you need me? Spags. So this goes beyond that. And then the coaches, to make the decision with the coaches, it also has a trickle-down effect on the draft, right? The type of guys you want to go out, sending out your scouts. They may have scouted a certain specific player all year, and this new coach doesn't want that type of guy. So now you got to get that going. Free agents. You may have been the personnel department. Will McClay may have been looking at a specific type of free agent, granted, bottom barrel type. And now you get a new coach. They don't want that type. Jake the Great. Good morning, good sir.
What's happening, Skywalker? Good morning, Cowboy Nation. Hey, I'm kind of in the blind to what's going on with Cooper Rush and Jerry Jones. I went fishing yesterday. I could after the game was over, I left, man. I couldn't believe Mike McCarthy, man.
Oh, he just said he didn't know about Cooper Rush's incentive, playing time incentive, meaning if he had played like 65 snaps in that game, he would have hit a $500 incentive, or $500,000 incentive. And they asked him, "Hey, man, is the reason why Cooper Rush didn't play because you didn't want to, pay him that money?" And he was like, "I didn't know about that until I read about it." That was that was the big thing. Like, you the general manager, you didn't know your starting quarterback had a playtime incentive in the last game of the year. Okay, sure.
That's crazy. I don't want to sound like a broken record, but I am so done with Mike McCarthy. I'm begging and praying to the football gods that he doesn't come back. Yesterday's game really made me mad. Mike McCarthy has no idea what he's doing, play calling. It's like right when he gets to the 20, he glitches. And it's not this year, it's been last year and the year before that. How tall is Brandon Cooks?
Cooks like 5'10", I think, yeah.
Bro, the man is 5'10". You just got a big run. You act like the 5-yard line. You want to throw a fade route to Brandon Cooks? I'm like, damn, you could put Mingo out there. What damn,
bruh,
what you do? You run the ball. Oh,
his play calling yesterday was that didn't change my mind not one iota. You know what I mean? This has been going on for quite some time.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm the last game of the year, meaningless last game of the season, definitely didn't. Hey, just like Jerry said, the hay's in the barn. The hay been in the barn for how I feel about Mike McCarthy as an offensive mind. It's been in the barn. As a program builder, something like that, that's a totally different situation. But on Sunday or Monday through Saturday, when it comes to game planning, yeah, the hay been in the barn for quite some time. He's not it.
Nah, he ain't it. Now, to what Hunter Grant was saying, I understand what he's saying, but we can't have that. We're just gonna be, you know what I'm saying? It's gonna be insanity. We're gonna have a fat Jason Garrett for about another 10 years, and we don't want that.
No. I'm not. Yeah,
you can't stomach that, man.
Right? Like I get it. We all get it. That the issue here is the Joneses, 100%. But I just hate when I hear, well, who else you're gonna get? I hate that. Because so many of these, I mean, hell, you look at, I showed you the lowest paid coaches, Matt LaFleur, Zach Taylor, and Kevin Stefanski. 2 of those been to NFC Championship games, 1 been to a Super Bowl. All those guys got their shot as a first-time head coach. In fact, every coach had to get their shot as a first-time head coach. You know what I'm saying? Right. So you just have to have the ability or the want-to step outside your box because your box has not worked, right? The one time that it may have worked was the Bill Parcells situation, but you pushed him out the door. Pushed him out the door.
One name I really didn't think about, I'm glad you put him in my brain. Doug Peterson, I wouldn't really mind Doug Peterson coming in here and being the head coach of the Cowboys. It ain't the flashiness, but I remember what he did. He's the one that won the Super Bowl with the Eagles, ain't he?
With the backup quarterback. Listen, I'm going to be honest. I don't know all the details in Jacksonville. I don't know the behind the scene thing, so I can't speak on that. I have to do my research there. But just from a distance, and I get it, it's Jacksonville. He had 1 or 2 decent seasons, a playoff win. So it's not like it was crazy successful down there. But I was a Doug Peterson fan prior to him going to Jacksonville. I do like him as a coach, but I will definitely have to do some more digging. I don't know if he would want to come here because if I remember correctly, Eagles fan, if you happen to be in the chat, if I remember correctly, he got into it with the upper management in Philly, and I just don't know if he would be a yes man to Jerry and them boys anyway. But I like that he comes from the modern West Coast offense. He was an Andy Reid disciple, and he won a Super Bowl with a backup quarterback by the way, his starter was the MVP of the season. Then his backup won the Super Bowl, and he kind of helped switch the offense to do it. So, yeah, I'm a fan of Doug. It's been a while since they won that Super Bowl, but, yeah, I like him.
Yeah, we just need a breath of fresh air in Dallas. We just can't have the same rotating fat gear now. I'm not with it. It's been a terrible season. I'm glad it's over, but I'm happy that we have content creators like you, Law, and all the rest, Vice, that we can be a community and congregate together. So I'm always gonna appreciate you. I ain't going nowhere. Keep doing a great job. I'm out. Cowboy Nation. Keep your heads up.
Appreciate you. it's been brought up now multiple times because Doug Peterson just got fired, I believe, this morning, but you knew that was coming down the pipe. Just out of curiosity, Cowboys Nation, where you guys stand on Doug? Where you stand? I mean, if I do some digging, I very well may say, oh, you know what, I'm out on Doug Peterson. But just from a distance, if we're talking about operating under the Joneses lens, I don't think he's a terrible candidate for that. Hey, has he been successful? Has he done it before? Won the Super Bowl? That whole situation, that whole thing. But I don't know if there were the issues in Jacksonville. Did he lose the locker room? Did he become a terrible play call? I don't know. I have to actually go look at those things, right? Let's see here. Looks like it's split, man. No. I want Doug. I like him. I've always liked him, to be honest. Says right. Shouts out to Right Truck. See you in the building, bro. Brent. Now that's another thing. Dow Cal 65. I thought about that too. As an OC, there's no question about it for me. But will he want to take that step back immediately? I don't know. Doug ain't ideal, but he uses multiple backs. No. C said I'll look at it. Somebody said I'm out. Yeah, again, from a distance, I'm a fan, but I feel like if I look, I'll find some flaws and maybe I'll take a step back. But he's that, let me put you over here. Let me revisit you if need be type category. Ultimately, I'd like to have Ben Johnson. But hey, Nisi said, yes, we need a coach to elevate us, period. Not my first choice, but I wouldn't mind it. You know, Doug Peterson's another one of those guys. John Gruden is another name that I've seen the fan base kind of like, if we're going to go down this route, I'd rather John than XYZ, right? John Gruden, we're talking about John Gruden, the coach, not John Gruden, the emailer. But you get what I mean. CFT in the building. What's good, bro? Guru said, is Doug a difference-making head coach now? That's the thing. I don't know. I don't know. I have to dive in a little bit more with his time in Jacksonville. But I damn sure like his offense. I know that. I do like his offense. But I know it's more into that than just running the offense as a head coach. That's the thing. I dropped my fandom if we hire Gruden. Yeah, he's not on my... But people are talking about John Gruden. No. It's a no for me, dog. It's a no for me. Let's get the original OG. B Bird, what's up, man?
Hey, what's up, Scott? First of all, man, congratulations on your new show, man. You know,
thank you.
You're gonna prosper just like you have in every other venue you've been on, man.
Thank you, sir.
I'm here with you, man, and support you. Just congratulations for one. And now you're independent now, aren't you?
Fully, yes.
Yeah, and that's where it's at, right? Like, you know, A to Z did his thing. Y'all both benefited each other, but you know, you'll never be wealthy working for somebody else. So that's a good thing you got back at your independence, man, and back on your grind again. So you know you can make your own money. One thing you were talking about first-time head coaches. I've heard some content creators be kind of afraid to start over, but I don't think that they should be afraid, because if you think about it, in the Cowboys' history, first-time NFL head coaches are the only ones that won Super Bowls. I can't recall. You know what I'm saying? So retreads don't really do it.
It's tough.
Head coaches that do it.
Yeah, I mean, how many head coaches? You know, I think at one point Mike McCarthy was trying to become one of the first head coaches to win a Super Bowl in 2 different franchises. That's tough to do.
I think maybe one person did it, but I can't remember who it was. But and then one thing, this is what I was calling about, to be honest with you, is this waiting game that the Cowboys play. I don't think it. I don't understand why they do that, where other franchises, you know, clear the cover and are ready for, you know, whoever's out there are making their plays as though they had a pre-plan, you know, had this thing planned before Game 17. I think what happens when you're the Cowboys, you're waiting and good prospects to go off the board. So
Yeah.
I kind of don't understand this waiting game. I do understand the fact that they don't have to rush because, again, they're not pressured into rushing because their jobs don't depend on it. But to get the best person, I mean, you don't want guys flying off the board, and next thing you know, you just got what's left over. I'm gonna get off. I'll listen to you comment on that, man. I appreciate you.
No, I appreciate you, B-Bird. Yeah, I don't think they can sit on their hands. We talked about this a little bit in regards to Twan's comment. They do this all the time in free agency, but they want to do it in free agency. They don't really care about, first level, second tier, first tier free agents. They like to deal with the bottom barrel. I don't think you can do that with coaches. I don't think you can do it in free agency either. We know you can't, but you have to, absolutely have to be aggressive, because if you go look at what Jane said, sure, there are coaches who want this job, but when he's talking about an incentive-based contract and she argues the market pays otherwise, and he said he didn't want anyone who didn't want to be here, but argued if someone doesn't want to make you feel like you're wanted, then why would you? Why would Mike want to come back? Now, this is me again now defending Mike. just look. Hey, Mike, why would you want to be here? Yeah, let's defend Mike, y'all. Why would you want to be here, Mike? Go do your thing, big dog. Go somewhere else, man. But in all seriousness, the human side of it, I think you're starting to hear Mike feel that way too. Now they did ask him in the press conference, do you want to return? He said, yeah, they got a lot invested in me. I got a lot invested here. Totally makes sense, right? I've been here for 5 years. My family's here, my kids. I want to be here. But if you don't want me, and apparently Jerry is insinuating not even hearing out any other teams. Like, if you want to be here, then just deal with me. Don't go see what the market has to offer. We just doing shit, man. I'm telling you. D-Sean, what's up, man?
Man, a lot. Season was not the best. There was some good. There was some bad. Some ups and downs.
It's over, man.
Honestly.
So that's the best part for me of the non-football season year, like the September to January, is coming up, and it's the off season. And I know it's not exciting for Cowboy fans, but as a football fan, I love team building. So this is the best part for me.
Honestly, they got a lot of work to do. And
yeah, they do.
Steven, honestly, everybody's remember about Jerry. Steven scares me more than Jerry does. And it's because when Steven says something, he usually goes by it. And when he was talking about how last offseason he want to do the same thing this offseason is pretty scary. And it's not fun at all. And then you got the whole coaching situation. My thing is, Scott, is that if you already have a decision, start getting to work on it before the season ends. Because if you do that, then what happens is coaches get off the board. You got you have the personnel. You have to pay multiple people because you have multiple people on 1 year contracts. So if you don't have a plan already, by the time this last game, that's the issue. That's a problem. We already starting off bad again.
No, I mean you're not lying.
And it's getting to a point where, Scott, everybody's starting to catch up fast. Washington Commanders caught up. Philadelphia, they've been up. And now New York is in a position where they can get a quarterback, so they can catch up. So now it's not going to be the whole we can just walk over the NFC East. You have to actually try to sit up here and make.
The irony, though, about that is you could have swept Washington, although I feel like they could have been. If Washington played straight up and Dallas played straight up, I think they could have swept them. Dak owns Philly. As long as Dak is here, I think. The Giants they're terrible. I don't even know if Cam Ward or Shador is going to be able to save them. They've been terrible. We'll see. So the irony with the East, I don't think much has changed in my opinion. I mean, when I say much has changed, I mean, yes, getting Jaden Daniels is definitely huge, and he's going to be a problem to deal with. But the Cowboys showed, at least as a rookie, Jaden Daniels, they can deal with him. But I still think the Cowboys can still compete in the East. I think the East is the least of their worries. I think the NFC in general, to me, is a bigger situation with the Green Bay Packers, the Minnesota Vikings, the Detroit Lions. San Fran is likely to bounce back. The Rams are never going to go in. Like, you know what I mean? I feel like the NFC is competitive in general. The East, for 21 years, the East has flip-flopped top guys, and I feel like that'll continue.
So, I mean, hopefully, I'm hoping, Scott, that they should at least try to cover up the holes that they're releasing and actually try to make an effort to just dunk the ball in the rim instead of hanging on the rim, because if they keep hanging on the rim, Scott, eventually that ball's going to fall off that rim.
And eventually, it might not even hit the rim.
Yeah.
But they might airball that mother. But they like to live around it. I think that excites them because it makes them relevant. You know?
And then my last statement, this is the most scary thing I'm starting to realize. Will McClay might not be here soon. Because I don't know, because I know you don't listen. I know you don't listen to Jerry, but the way like Jerry was talking about Will McClay, it sounds like he's kind of throwing him under the bus. And I'm hearing rumors, and don't speculate, that they're trying to bring his grandsons up to do the evaluation that Will McClay is doing instead of Will McClay.
Wow. What?
Yeah. Like, so I'm at the send it to you because there was a thing, 105 to the fan, they was talking to Jerry, and they was talking about how great of a job Will McClay's doing. Jerry debunked it every time they started talking about Will, every single time.
Oh, yes. Yeah,
but what about the coaches, and what about this? Like,
hold on, send that to me. Send that to me on, I don't know if you got me on Instagram or on Twitter. I want to read or hear this. So you're saying he may be pulling a Woody Johnson?
Because he debunked everything Will McClay said.
No, I'm talking about the grandson. You said that he may be looking at his grandson running the.
Yeah, the 25-year-old. Yeah, I think Steven Jr. He just got out of college. He just got out of there.
Dude,
Yeah.
I hope whoever's telling you that is dead ass wrong, bro.
He's not like.
Can I ask you a question? I mean, I don't know if you got like sources. I don't want to burn them. Where'd you hear this at?
Boss Cowboy Sports. He's been talking about it too.
All right, I have to reach out to Boss. I need to do some digging because that is. I mean, that might be worse than anything. If we're going to replace Will McClay with his whatever he is, with this 20-some-year-old grandson. Now, I'm not saying the age should matter, right? But it's just more family business. It's more mom and pop, and that. Okay.
All right. All right. Where is Scott?
Oh, all right, man. Appreciate you, dog. I didn't mean to end it like that. That's the first I'm hearing of this. This is some Woody Johnson. Ask my 15-year-old son about the Madden rating. Yeah, I gotta do more digging. I truly hope that is not. Now, Will McClay, eventually moving on. That's not a shocker to me. At some point, Will get offered a bag. At some point, he's got family things going on. He'll be ready to take that next step to be officially a general manager. Because I told y'all before, he ain't. People often say he is. He's not. Steven is your real general manager. Jerry is your. I don't got to speak to the general manager because I'm the general manager and I'm going to make a ridiculous trade, or this is who I want as coach, or this is the timeline we're going to run things. It's just it's a cluster F, right? Of power. But the Will McClay thing, getting replaced by Jerry's grandson. Ooh. Professor O said, Jerry said last Thursday, Friday, he wants to get Will McClay extended. Okay. Somebody said that's a ridiculous rumor. It's very much a that's wild. That's something I definitely would not mention unless I got like firsthand knowledge of that happening. But that's a wild rumor. I know somebody that knows somebody that knows somebody, so I'll reach out and see what's up with this Will McClay thing because he is a free agent. Twan, good morning, man.
Good morning, Sky. I want to start off by saying congratulations to your independence. I salute you.
Thank you, sir.
And I love everything. I love everything you're doing, bro.
Thank you, brother. Appreciate you.
I'm gonna make this quick. I'm more so just want to talk about the coaches in the draft. Doug Peterson, I don't know.
Yeah, me neither.
Because just like you said, I don't know if he really is going to be the yes man. So he might not go for the shit that Jerry Jones and Steven try to put out there. But I'm open to it, but I don't know. I really want them to try to go at Vrabel, but I don't think that's going to happen. I feel like he's more so going to go to the Patriots. Ben Johnson, they're not going to pay him. I would also think about Cliff Kingsbury. How do you think about that from an offensive perspective? How do you feel about him?
No. We did an exercise some months ago where we were like, well, would you rather Mike McCarthy or would you rather Cliff Kingsbury and Robert Saleh? I try to throw a curveball in there, but like Cliff,
okay, so
being my head guy, probably not. Nah, I wouldn't want Cliff. I mean, put it this way: there's a lot of other coaches I'd rather have than Cliff Kingsbury. Let me say that. If he happened to fall, you miss out on all these guys. Dennis Cliff, it's like, I mean, I guess it's new blood, it's fresh blood. You know, he's doing some good things with the rookie and whatnot. He does have kind of a modern offense or what have you. So there's that. But I have to keep reminding myself, okay, there's a little bit more than just the play calling aspect to this thing, right? That's what makes it a little bit more difficult.
Yeah. Okay. I feel like is it Mike McCarthy's contract doesn't expire on the 10th, correct?
I believe the 14th is the reports that came out. Like the 14th, he's able to be a free agent, but they can exclusively negotiate with him, and no one else can between now and then, if I'm not mistaken.
All right. If he's not fired by Thursday, I feel like he's coming back.
Well, he won't be fired. He can't be fired. His contract is expired, right? So,
well, true. Well, if they don't make a decision by Thursday, I feel like he's coming back. And sorry to say, I feel like they're going to do the same thing they did this previous year on the offseason, drag their feet with everything, Sky, and the writing will be on the wall. And I don't think I'm gonna feel the same way I felt last year, Sky. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna be on the toxic wave where I don't think I'm gonna root for him until Jerry Jones dies. And I hate to say some shit like that. I hate to say some shit like that because it's like we're just gonna keep doing the same thing over and over again. We need to get a new coach in here. We need to get a new regime.
I mean, you can still root for him, my guy.
No, okay, no, I'm definitely gonna watch the game.
Still root for him.
I'm not gonna get my hopes up for this.
You're not gonna be as emotionally invested if nothing changes. I understand.
Yeah, I can't do it because it's like it's sickening. I'm 30. I'll be 35 next month.
Oh, I definitely gotta do that.
It's going on 30 years, Scott. This shit is heartbreaking. Sick of it. Now, to the draft.
Yeah. Let's talk about your draft point quickly.
I feel like we need to go best player available. If Genty is there at 12 and we don't grab Genty, what the fuck are we doing?
Well, depends who else honestly, you grab.
I feel like me personally, first round, weapon immediately.
Sure. What if it's another weapon they grab though? So I feel like it's first of all, it's just entirely too early to be zeroing in on one player. I mean, I think that's wild, especially in the top 12. If you don't get this player, what? Nah, man, I think that's crazy talk because there are going to be other players there that can help this team as well. Plus, if we're talking running back, I'm sorry, I'm just not going to get all up in arms if they don't take one in the first round, but they grab one maybe the next round, right? Because I think this running back class is super deep and you can get quality guys. So if it ain't Genty, which look, if it's Genty, awesome. But if it's not, I think it'd be kind of wild to be like, what the F are they doing if the other guy is a Luther Burden, or if you're talking about weapons, right? I don't think that Tet's going to fall that far, but you know what I'm saying? The Ohio State receiver, like there's other weapons if it ain't Genty, and there's other backs if it ain't Genty. So I say this every year to everybody, man. I think I think you got to be careful with these, fall in love with these players, especially for draft time. You're just going to hurt yourself. You're just going to hurt yourself.
Yeah.
If you zero in on one player and that doesn't happen, then you're going to throw fits, and next thing you know, Tyler Smith is an all-pro type situation. So you just got to, man, let this process play out in the sense of the draft process between now, so many months. There's going to be guys that pop up you'll like more. We're only focused on the top guys right now, but I just think it's flawed to be like this player or bust, picking in the top 12 for the first or for all your picks. I think you can still get a good player there that's not Genty, bro. So just for your sanity, just saying, if you might want to look at other players, is all I'm saying.
No. I'm just saying we got to go weapons. We better not go deep tackle or lineman. We better go first round weapons.
See, you're doing the same. You're doing the same thing. You're just doing it with the position group. I still think that's flawed, because why would you not? If a defensive tackle is there, that's a dude. What? Like, I'm not saying this dude's gonna be here. Let's just play hypothetical here. You wouldn't take Mason Graham?
I would, but we're not good at picking defensive tackles. That's just honesty. Like our last history of showing us picking defensive tackles, we ain't been hitting. So I don't trust them. That's just my opinion.
Okay. Fair enough.
And for closing.
I ain't trying to sell you on O-line. I didn't even bring up O-line. But he said defensive tackle. I mean, damn sure defensive tackle. I'd take one of them dudes.
See more do-rag Sky on this new channel, yes or no?
Maybe. You know, look, if I tell you when I'm going to do then you know what I mean? So you might see me pop up with do-rag Sky from time to time.
I'm not telling you when to do it. I just want to see more, because there's some callers that come in, and I feel like you need to throw on the do-rag.
That's fair.
Get a little ignorant.
See, look, I try to give everybody an opportunity, even if I don't agree with it, right? And we'll squabble, we'll debate about it, but I try to let everybody get their takes off, you know? So
we'll see. All right, peace, Sky. Love.
Salute. Do you understand what I'm saying, though, man? Like, I don't know. Maybe it's because I learned my lesson. I tell this story all the time with the TJ Watt draft. That was the final straw for me. And that's when I was still, I mean, I wasn't doing this. So I was zeroed in, like, man, TJ Watt, this is it. He's going to fall to us. This is the guy. And they won Taco Charlton. And I was like, I was heartbroken. Like, are you kidding me? And I said, never again. Never again. And obviously I started doing this a little bit more seriously, and I had to be more objective in looking at these things. I just won't zero in on one player, not or position or side of the ball or none of that, especially picking at 12. And if you can't get a dude at 12, whether you're picking on the offense side or defense side, that is not a problem of the fan. That's a problem of the front office. Seriously. But I'm just trying to caution you, man. When you zero in on one player, you setting yourself up big time. But I do understand, though, that there's a part of the fan base and creators alike that will do that, so that if it hits the whole "I told you so" thing and see and all that stuff. So I get that. There's that aspect to it. But see, the beauty with me, I don't proclaim to be a draft guy. I don't at all. I get in the lab, I do my homework, I give opinions on it or whatnot. I bring in others that truly do this, and we discuss it. And then, hey, man, we will debate about the pick, and we'll go from there. But I'm done getting up in arms about not getting the guy I wanted, because I understand, like, 99% of the time, if you zero in on one guy, you ain't getting that guy. You ain't getting that guy, man. We review 700 players. You're probably going to maybe get 2 out of those that you absolutely got to have, or this draft sucks. Ain't doing that, man. Sky, was you wrong about TJ Watt? Was I wrong in what sense? The whole, I was wrong that I thought they had to get him and I thought they would get him. Yeah. but I don't know what you mean. I'm gonna have to elaborate a little bit more. But I stopped. I put all my TJ Watt's our guy. We're going to get TJ Watt. I put my heart and soul into that, and it didn't happen. And I was like, you know what? Probably shouldn't be doing that, man. Brother L, is you off of Twitter, bro? I try to find you. Hit me back. Hit me up on Twitter, man. Rome said, "Being I told you so guy is overrated." So hey, it's some folks shtick, like that's what they do, but it ain't, ain't me. 903, what it is, what it do?
What's up, Sky?
What's going on? Let me turn you down a little bit.
Hey, man, just want to congratulate you on being free now, Anyways, man, let me just short and sweet. On the head coaching thing, man, it's going to have to be somebody, I feel, that, look at it this way, let's just say this. The defense, all right? So if you bring in another head coach and he wants to bring in another defensive coordinator, that's your defense is learning a new system in 3 years. It's 3 different systems in the last 3 years.
That would be the case, yeah.
And we saw how long it took for the defense to understand the concepts of everything with Zimmer's defense halfway through the year before they finally started to show signs of understanding. So you basically will be doing that over again. Unless you bring in somebody like a Gunther who runs the same type of system.
That would be my
But then on the offensive side, I think it has to be an offensive guy who is either willing to bring Zimmer back or somebody that runs that same type of philosophy. So that's just my 2 opinions on that. I hope that it'll be somewhere near that. As far as the draft, man, it's too early to start pigeonholing yourself. Like you said, you just never know with these things. Like, players are gonna move up and move down. So the best thing you can hope for is getting dudes that's gonna come in immediately and help improve the team.
That's a fact. That's the number one thing you got to do in the first round. You got to get a guy that can come in here and play, and eventually, maybe if it's not day one, but eventually during that season, attributes to you winning or attributes to you doing well on that side of the ball or at that position. Like the project thing, no.
Yeah, no, that's not what we're looking for. And also, I mean, I look at McCarthy. He was brought in to get the team over the hump. We've been making the playoffs, under Jason Garrett and Kellen Moore. It's supposed to be to the Super Bowl now. Mm-hmm. And so what did he do? He kept the trend going. We made it to the playoffs. Yeah, we may got around a little further, maybe a little less, but he didn't get us over the hump. So to bring him back will be going with status quo, which is what the fan base is not trying to hear. So at the same time, like, if you're going to bring in a guy who's got experience, he better be an offensive-minded guy that's going to help Dak Prescott, the one that you gave all the money to, that's going to help prolong his career. That's just my 2 cents, man. I'm just going to hang up and listen to the rest of the show. Appreciate you for all your hard work, man, and congratulations on being free again.
Thanks, man. Appreciate you, big dog. I will say this. Clear it here. Uh-oh. I had Twan still on. My bad. I will say this about the continuity thing. I understand it's a risk, right? Whether it's because if you think about it, if you bring in a different offense, you kind of like 3 offenses in the last 4 years, in a way. Kellen Moore's, Mike McCarthy's, and then this new guy. But I think that's just the way it is in this sport. You're going to have change, and sometimes when you have those changes, it's scheme change, and now it takes some time. I still don't believe you should make your decision solely based on that either. I don't. I feel like for instance, if Robert Saleh wants to come coach this defense, are you going to be like, no, because we want to keep continuity? You shouldn't. You shouldn't. But if McCarthy's returning, or if a new coach comes in and they say, I want to keep that defense, thus I'm going to hire a Paul Gunther or keep Mike Zimmer, then that's totally different, because you're giving your coach is not being restricted by its front office to do what it needs to do. And I say it all the time, but sometimes that doesn't work out, then so be it. Then let them fix it. Let them make a different decision. You don't neuter them. But it's a tricky tricky situation to navigate. I definitely, and I think even Micah spoke to this. He would love to have Mike Zimmer back, but we talked about it a few weeks ago when Zim had that press conference where it sounded like, I don't know if he want to come back. Then he really came out last week and was like, is this the last presser? I bet. Let me really let it off. I don't know that Mike wants to do this. I don't think his heart's in it. Thus, to be completely honest, as well as the defense played in the second half of the year and they started to get it together, I don't know that I want a coach who's not all the way in it. I just don't know. I would let, so I already kind of answered this. I don't know if it's a question, Willie T, but it's if you're bringing Paul Gunther as DC, then are you letting the new coach pick their staff, or are you forcing Paul a new coach? So obviously you must have, I kind of answered that. If you're returning Mike McCarthy and you want continuity, you bring Paul Gunther to be the DC. If you have a new coach, you let that new coach, again, if it's Robert Saleh, they want Robert Saleh, or are you going to say no because we want continuity? Hell no, you go get Robert Saleh. But in general, you let the head coach pick who they want. You can interview Paul, you can interview Mike. If they want one of those guys, bet. Let them have them. If not, move on. It's that simple. Don't neuter your coaches. We went down this timeline of them doing that quite literally. I know we kind of talk about it when it comes to players and going into the meetings, but no, quite literally, certain coaches are forced upon the head coach. Wade Phillips was forced Jason Garrett and knew in the back of his mind this is the heir apparent. Even Jason Garrett was forced Kellen Moore, and when he wanted to get his play calling duties back, no. Jerry forced play calling duties away from Jason to Bill Callahan, and Bill was all happy. Then he snatched that and said, you can't leave, and gave it to Linehan. Then he forced, who was it, Kellen Moore, on Mike McCarthy. You can't do that, man. Now, I guess you could say where it did work out is, well, they forced Dan Quinn's ass on Mike McCarthy and it worked out, sure. But ultimately, that is not a leadership hierarchy that I want to roll with, that I want to be a part of. And that goes back to this. Maybe Mike might be like, man, look, $4 million and I'm neutered and I'm third, fourth, fifth fiddle around here. Better come correct. Splendid Poppy, good morning, man.
Sky, good morning. I'm glad that you actually have a new page, brother. I wanted to just call in and be a part of this.
Thank you,
this
brother.
epic moment that you're striving up by yourself. But just how you're building this, your page again. That's what the Joneses did with the Dallas Cowboys. They, I realized, I have my own business also. So what I do, Sky, on my best businesses, on my best jobs that I have here on the island that I build, I show them off. Hey, look, man, I'm trying to get a new client that has a big restaurant or something like that, or, he's someone that is well known. Hey, man, look, I got this job you want to check out, go ahead. You want to see it. It is what it is, man. It's self-explanatory. You know what I do. I don't got to explain anything. Well, I think that's exactly what Jerry does with Dallas Cowboys. He's been doing it for 30 years, and now it's a big old soap opera, just how he said. So now I look at it as wrestling. So, you're the perfect person for this to talk with, because I believe that this is now a big old soap opera, a big old TV show like wrestling. And, we can see the names come in and this and that, but it's always going to be the story. Always everything's going to be about the story. Remember, and you can't expect, I want this big name and this and that, because Jerry doesn't roll that way. He don't roll with wasting the money. He rolls with building the story. And that's where I'm at, Sky. I don't know what you say about that.
No, I think you're echoing a lot of other fan sentiments. He's even quite literally said it. If they're talking about us, I'm doing my job. So, you preach it to the choir, brother. Dude, he has a Netflix series where he says it's a soap opera 365 days a year, or a Netflix documentary, not a series. So, it is what it is. I hate to say it, but it is what it is when it comes to that. It's somebody just has to be able to finesse their way in here and overcome it, man. It's hard to do, but the first step though is making that decision. Like you have to. If they're going to bring back Mike, then you know what, man, do it. Do it so we can start prepping for building the team up to try to be better than they were this year. So that's my whole thing. You already got 3 organizations that came out that said, "Hey, the Giants, our guys are coming back. Miami, our guys are coming back. San Fran, our guys are coming back." They're shutting that down. You know why? Because now the season's over, they're not harping on it. They don't care about dragging it out for another week to get ratings and get people talking. You know what they're doing this morning? Exit interviews and starting to prepare for free agency.
Playing
the
football.
Draft.
You're
You're making trades, right? They're doing the football things.
Not milking the story for the business.
Right.
And one more thing, Scott, my bad. The trade Lance thing. It sucks that they did that to Cooper. I already knew. I saw that coming. Jared's a cheap kid. He ain't gonna pay. So it is what it is. On that part. But the Trey Lance part, he played yesterday because I believe he's gonna shut everybody up and he's gonna keep him. He's gonna let go of Cooper Rush. He's gonna try to keep Trey Lance because he's more younger and has more upside, closer to Dak's skills than to Cooper. To Dak. On
And that's another problem.
And
what if the coach don't want him?
It's not about the coach. It's about Jeremy.
I know, but that just it all comes back to that though, right? Like if he forces Trey Lance on the next coach, bro, oh my gosh. And Trey's a free agent. Trey might be like, "Hey man, screw this. I go somewhere where I can play." But Trey might not have them suitors either. But it's just so. It's sad when you really think about it, because when you think about every move you got to make, you have to. That's common sense. You have to then go back and say, "Wait a minute, we are dealing with this guy, so now we have to operate in that lens."
Yep. And watch, just because he bought Will Green back, Will Green's going to be the third.
Say again.
I was like, Will Greer, just because he bought him back, watch, he's going to end up being the reserve third.
Man, we a long way from Will Greer, the third quarterback, brother. We a long way from that. I mean, now if they bring in a new coach, I damn sure think he'll pick his own third quarterback. I don't know if it'd be Will Greer. They ain't got nothing invested in Will Greer.
Yeah. That's true. But I just the way they made it on that, I guess he does it for every third string quarterback on the preseason. Try to build them up so they can exit or see if they're gonna make the team or what. But I just see Jerry. He'll milk anything. Sky fuck. That was the language, but dude, he'll probably get a story out of Will Greer too. I believe just like the new team. Oh man, they just. I
don't know. I appreciate you calling in. We're gonna wrap this one up, man. It's getting a little bit more difficult to hear. I think you got me on speaker.
No, my bad. It's the wind over here in Northern kicked in real bad here in the South, and I'm just trying to stay away from all the wind in the windows.
No, I feel you. The wind is crazy up here too, but appreciate you, big dog.
Y'all have a great day. Appreciate it, dog.
Yeah, the wind up here is I've been down here for a number of years now. You start getting used to this Texas weather. This is normal PA weather down here right now. Something like is it single digits with that wind? What's going on here? Yeah, that wind chill knocking it down to single digits. Caught me by surprise. I had to put a coat on all year. Went out to my car. Oh, God, that disrespectful wind, It's that wind where you can't breathe. Sound like my man was sick. That's all it was, y'all. Don't do that to him. Interesting point, Rod Chai said, just a reminder, sports media try to sell us every single year that McCarthy was the top of the list to get fired. Now we're talking about a new contract after missing the postseason. Yeah, I always thought that was weird. Like listen, they're not firing Mike. They weren't going to fire Mike McCarthy after losing to San Francisco in 2021. That wasn't going to happen. But they were talking about it. Is he on a hot seat? Come on, y'all. The Green Bay game, though, that made a lot of sense to fire them. I understand having that conversation, but it's not in Jerry's wheelhouse. But yeah, every year, technically, literally was on the hot seat this year, though. So. Yeah, the weather crazy down here. The weather crazy down here. All right, that'll do it for the phone lines, man. Let's wrap to y'all for a little bit more. Get up out of here. Oh, brother L, I didn't know if you hit me up on the Twitter sphere, but if you still got it, hit me up, or Instagram if you ain't on there, bro. A decade of Garrett, but McCarthy always on a hot seat. Well, we don't want another decade of McCarthy either. That's the conversation I was having with who was that? 100 grand. Like, I don't want to go down this route again. He was here to get us over the hump in the playoffs. Somebody made a great point. We were going to the playoffs. Going to the playoffs is not an issue. Now, did we go back-to-back years? No. He did do something for the first time the Cowboys hadn't done in a long time. That was when the road game. But going to the playoffs, again, we're talking about the Cowboys standard here. He was brought here because he was supposed to do better than Garrett in the playoffs. That has not been the case. So maybe we can continue to go down this road, but let's play a game. You get into the playoffs, and usually talent levels off, right? You're likely going to be closer to talent of the team you're playing, or that team may have better talent. So now I say this all the time. When you have the other team is just as talented as you are or more, this is where coaching really matters. You trust Mike McCarthy up against Matt LaFleur? You trust Mike McCarthy up against Kyle Shanahan? Oh, we know that answer. Do you trust Mike McCarthy up against Dan Campbell? Some might say sure, but we'll see. Do you trust Mike McCarthy up against who else we got in there? Sean McVay? See what I'm saying? It starts getting, oh, wait a minute. Who knows what other new coach may pop up here? And yes, I saw here from Cam this year. Look, let's do this real quick. This year is not about. I'm not blaming this season on Mike McCarthy. This is beyond 2024. I don't think should have been brought back for this year in general. And also, we all understand that this season they did him nor the players any favors. And when I say they, I mean these gentlemen right here. They didn't do him any favors. I just don't think for this organization he's the guy. That's all. So we'll keep our ears plugged to the ground. We'll look for all the notifications and reports about what's going to happen here. I got a feeling this is going to drag out a little bit. I hope not. I feel like making a decision sooner rather than later is the best way to go about this thing. But starting probably tomorrow, we'll start reviewing the season in regards to the actual players. But we definitely know, I mean, at least my opinion, the coaching aspect of this is the most important. It absolutely is. But it's going to be time to start reviewing, looking at hindsight 2024 and seeing maybe what's some of these guys returning, which also begs the, when you start talking about guys returning, you kind of got to put a pin in it. You got, because what if that coach, that's not their type, right? That's why this is just so frustrating, man. Just so frustrating. Get it over with. Get it over with. But hey, that'll do it, man, for the first episode of the Skywalker Show here on Skywalker Unleashed, the new channel. I believe there's a good bit of you guys still over there. I'm about to spam this real quick, y'all, because I'm not on that side to pin it. There's a good bit of you guys on A to Z, and you're probably like, why does this look totally different? Why? What are you talking about, Skywalker Unleashed? We're no longer on A to Z fully. For the first week or so, we'll be streaming both to remind you guys we are now here on the Skywalker Still Unleashed channel. So Come on over if you haven't. Subscribe, hit the like button for today's show. If you have not, share this to your folks that may be out on the other side, right? So come on through. Did I spam it right? Let me try that one more again. Bam. Yes, and hit the bell. It's very important to hit that bell for the notification for the new channel, because as it's growing, right? As we get more content on the channel, then you'll start to probably see it in your For You page or what have you. But until then, you probably got to hit that bell so you can see it, man. But tomorrow we may have Nick Harris. I want to talk to Nick a little bit more about this coaching situation, because he's a beat reporter down there, ears plugged to the ground. So we'll see about that. And we'll start, like I said, recapping this season, and the off season begins, man. The off season begins. We got plenty of series that we'll get to, plenty of guests that we'll have on the show. Again, my favorite part of the year, even though the Cowboys don't really make it fun, but team building as a fan is one of the coolest parts about this whole thing, because it's a whole lot of what ifs, right? It's a whole lot of what ifs. Thank you, Drew. Appreciate it. Yes. So we said you're bringing a wrestling pod content here too. Now we got a channel, bro. And New Wrestling will be live tonight. I might bring some of it, to be honest with you, but And New Wrestling will be live on the channel tonight for the first episode. Ain't that crazy? First episode of Scott Walker Unleashed. First episode of Raw on Netflix. We're streaming that live, reacting to it as it's going. So make sure y'all come through. Again, And New Wrestling. Just type that in on YouTube. It'll pop up. That'll be fun. That'll be fun. Let me make sure. Appreciate it, Ride Trap. Appreciate it. And again, like I said before, there's some other things with that I's have to be dotted, T's have to be crossed. That once these things happen, I'll be sharing that information. Really excited about the other opportunities that are working in the works per se right now. I just can't say anything, but when that does happen, you guys will be one of the first to know. I saw a question here before I get up out of here. I thought I saw a question. Maybe I didn't. All right. With that said, I mean, look, not much has changed in regards to how we get up out of here. So I'm gonna go ahead and push the button.
Push the goddamn button. Push the goddamn button.
But I'm gonna let my guy Hove cook for a little bit on the way out. Cause you can't knock the hustle. You may not like it. You may not feel what I do all the time. But one thing you cannot do, you can't knock the hustle, man. We out of here. Lay your peace.
Yo, I'm making short-term goals when the weather falls. Just put away the leathers and put ice on the gold. Chilly with enough bail money to free a big Willie. High stakes, I got more at stake than Philly. Shopping sprees, copping threes. Dudes feed by IS's, fully loaded. Yes, bouncing in the Lex Luger. Tire smoke like Buddha. 50 G's to the crap shooter. Players can't fade me. Chrome stocks beaming through my peripheral. I see you scheming. Stop dreaming, I leave your body steaming. Brothers is fiending, what's the meaning? I'm meaning on any player intervening with the sound of my money machining.
Taking up this time to give you a piece of my mind.
You can't knock the hustle.